Peace. It's your girl T Speaks back with a special episode that's actually for myself that I'm going to go ahead and post. I want to just take a breath. Invite my ancestors into the room. Thank you for being here with me, y'all. We about to go in. This is my 4-month update living in Dallas, Texas. And so it's been 4 months since I moved in here. Since I moved here. Let me back up. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, help me to grow the channel, especially if you like the content. It takes nothing but a boop for you to do that. Let me know that you care and you enjoy the content. With that being said, I gotta get started because obviously I'm excited. I'm gonna talk about my 4-month update, living here, moving to Dallas, Texas. I'm a bit emotional about it because it was quite the journey. It was by far the biggest thing that I've ever done in my entire life, outside of obviously giving birth to a human being. And it kind of felt like I gave birth to myself moving here. I got some topics to chat about. The first is the weather. Let's dive right into it. Oh Lord, the weather is out of control. When I say people online was telling me, or I was reading up on the weather before coming here, I honestly was like, they are totally tripping. They're totally being, they're over exaggerating the weather. As soon as I touched down, 4 days later, the biggest storm of the history of Dallas, Texas, or Texas as a whole, hit. When I say I got the wind knocked out of me, I had the wind knocked out of me. Literally. If I had known the storm would have hit, I would not have moved here. I say that laughingly, hindsight is always 2020. I wouldn't have moved here, hands down. And so that's why, when people reach out to me online and they say, well, should I move? Should I move? I'm like, listen, as long as you're right with yourself, God will always prepare you, or your higher power, the universe, whatever you believe in, Buddha, I don't care what it is. You will always be, their ancestors, you will always be taken care of. Because when I say the storm held off until this chick right here, I drove cross country for 5 days by myself, all my possessions in one Enterprise rental van, okay? Just me and my possessions. And we drove by ourselves from California to Texas over the course of 5 days. The storm held off for that long. And as soon as I touched down, boom, the storm hit. So I'm leading with that. I'm going to lead with that. Now, as you can tell by my skin color, I'm quite surprised as well when I was putting on my makeup in preparation for showing my beautiful face online again, that the sun is quite as devilish as the snow. I have been working out in the outside recently in the past week or so, and I have been noticing that I'm getting darker and darker day by day. And I was like, I might want to start putting on some sunscreen. Well, first of all, I got bit by a mosquito, and so I was like, oh Lord, it swelled up this big, and I was like, good Lord, let me go ahead. I have to write down bugs because we're gonna talk about some bugs now. I had to get me my little, my little spray, my little off spray. And so I spray myself from head to toe over my clothes before I go outside, because I don't want to get bit by a mosquito and have the welt on me this big and be like in pain. for like 3 weeks. It's crazy. Now, I noticed today as I was putting on my makeup that I'm looking a little bit crispy fried chickenish. I'm looking like I spent some time in Las Vegas, okay? I'm looking like I've been on a backpacking trip through the Everest Mountains or wherever the tallest trees in Hawaii somewhere. Oh Lord, like I look like I have been living in a monastery with absolutely no shade. Like, seriously. And so now I'm being reminded to take care of my outer appearance, to take care of my skin. Will I continue to work out outside? I don't know yet. Because if it's gonna cause my skin this much damage, I don't want to deal with it. We're gonna have to figure out another way. So the weather is all over the place. You go from snowstorms to rain to crazy ass hot sun, 95 degrees. You don't know what to wear. You don't know how to put your hair. Like, I'm glad I'm natural, because I wouldn't be able to my hair would not even be able to keep up with the changing of weather anyway. So let me stop. So there we have that. The weather is out of control. The bugs. Oh, Lord. Me and the bugs. Ooh, Lord help us. I got to do this. I got to do 3 Hail Marys before I get into this conversation. Like I said, the bugs have been very present in Texas. Quite present. This is their land. If you think you move in here without seeing them and without acknowledging and building a relationship with the bugs, you got it all the way wrong. Okay? You and the bugs will become allies after a while. You will acknowledge the bugs. Like, the bugs is gonna be here. This is their land. You are trespassing on their property. They have owned rights, mineral and oil rights to this land of Texas. Okay? I need y'all to understand that before y'all start coming here and complaining about the damn bugs. They are here. They ain't going nowhere. And they everywhere. I'm looking for some right now. They everywhere. It don't matter if you in a high-rise apartment. It don't matter if you on the subway or the train. It don't matter if you walking down the street. It don't matter if you are swimming. It does not matter. They are right there, front and center. They own this land. They are right there, front and center. Okay, you pay them rent. That's how bad it is. Me and the bugs have had quite a time with one another. The roaches are about as big as my thumb. They run about this long at minimum. These are the baby roaches. These are the newborns. Okay, now just imagine the adults, the full size roaches. The good thing about it is that they're not, in my opinion, they're not as terrifying as some of the other bugs that I'm used to seeing, like the spiders and the wasps' nests outside of my home in California. I will say that. And they're slow. Maybe it's because if they're slow, it makes me less terrified of them, because they're sauntering across the floor and you can just quietly get up from eating your lunch, grab a napkin, slowly walk over there, and they're still sauntering about. Or they may have flipped over in their back and they're doing this, which is what they do a lot. And you just pick them up and you just throw them away. No big deal. I have grew hair on my chest since I have moved here to Dallas, Texas, dealing with these bugs and the weather. Them two things, I got hair on my chest, y'all. Like, it's real. So the bugs is gonna be here, but you just gotta learn how to make friends with them, because they're here to stay. Housing. We gotta get a little bit serious, so let me reel my funnies back. Ooh, we be me and them bugs having conversations. I'd be like, you came back. And they'd be like, girl, you know we here to stay. I'd be like, but I thought I sprayed. They were like, no, you sprayed my cousin. Oh, Lord, help us, Jesus. Housing. I thought California was bad. Texas is not too far from California in regards to housing. Texas, in my opinion, now listen, let me preface this myself before someone comes on the channel and tries to correct me in the comment section. I, as a social worker and as the one in the trenches, specifically with the city, that working with the, I'm scared to say it, I won't say the name, working with a specific agency that assists people in need of housing resources, I see a huge disparity in housing resources in Texas. I have seen a huge disparity in the urgency to assist those who have been affected tremendously by the pandemic financially. And I see a lack of resources available for those who need housing assistance. I do. I don't see as many homeless people in Texas, I've noticed, as I do laying on the street, as I do in California. California has completely, in my opinion, and I'm speaking in totality for a reason here, California has completely disregarded the homeless population. Like, it's so disrespectful. You can walk downtown in Sacramento and check out the steps of the Capitol State Building, and you see homeless camps camped out overnight in front of those buildings. And people who work for the state and people who are, just business owners in downtown, like, they will walk past many cities of homeless people who are homeless, let me be careful with my words, people who are homeless, who are experiencing homelessness, they will walk right past them on their lunch break. And the people who are experiencing homelessness will be in their tents, or they'll be literally on the street sleeping on the sidewalk. And like, sometimes without a blanket and a pillow, sometimes with a blanket and a pillow. It's that bad in California. It's one of the reasons why I moved, because it was so sad to see all the time. Texas, I have not seen that severity of people experiencing homelessness. What I have seen, and I have seen people who are homeless. I have seen people sleeping under bridges. I have seen small tent cities in parts of Dallas. But what I also have seen is people who are struggling to maintain housing not receive the amount of resources in the amount of time that they need them in order to avoid losing said housing. I sound really smart right now because I'm in my social work brain. And I'm really serious about what I'm talking about right now. And I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I would call myself an observer, especially from the outside looking in. Especially from the outside looking in. And now I would call myself on the inside looking in. I am quite concerned with the way that housing will look like in 5 to 10 years in Dallas, Texas, and Texas as a whole, but specifically in the arena that I'm living in, the cities that I'm frequenting. Because the ability, and there's grants out there. I'm obviously working with agencies that have grants to give people who are affected by the pandemic to assist and pay their housing and pay their utilities and all that stuff. But the trickle down, like, if the grant was up here and the person was here waiting, and I'm right here, and I'm trying to close the gap between the people getting the resources that are up here it takes a long time for the resources to get to me. And then it takes, for some reason, the powers that be that are orchestrating the way that we deliver said resources to the people that need them, there's so many roadblocks that they put in our way, and there's so many things that they require someone who needs the resources to have in order for us to even greenlight the resources, to tell the people up there, like, okay, these people are greenlighted. It takes so much. By the time that the resources are available to be had, the person that needed them is already evicted. I know that's a long way to say it, but I know that y'all who listen to me understand I'm already long-winded and you guys love it. You're not a microwave generation, okay? So you understand it. And it's quite interesting, to say the least. And you think about the storm, and I'm quite far from being political, but you think about when the storm hit and how the Texas grid was put under microscope, and how long it took for us to even get running water and running electricity again. And some of us went without for 3 to 6 weeks, myself included, without running water, without electricity. And some of us received bills of $2,000 to $3,000 for utility bills, because the ones that were receiving the water and electricity when others weren't in Texas, for some reason they were using, like, the companies were, they were putting so much wattage or whatever, however they were calculating. Thank you, God. Thank you. That's why I pray before every video. They were calculating it in a higher frequency so that it made the people that were receiving the utilities and electricity, it made their bills skyrocket because of the way that the calculations worked. So if your bill was $50 a month for water, it all of a sudden went up to $500 during the time that the storm hit, because of the way that the calculations went down. Even though you were probably using about the same amount of water, maybe a little bit more during that time since we were home, but not enough to skyrocket it 10 times. So what do you do when you have a $2,000 bill and you're on Social Security? We having our conversation, yes ma'am. What do you do when you are on Social Security and you are receiving $800 a month in Social Security? You are on food stamps. You are receiving $300 a month in food stamps. You are on Section 8 housing possibly. You probably got about $200 left at the most left to your name, and that's pushing it. That's being rich. That's being wealthy. And then you get a $2,000 utility bill because of a storm that hit that you ain't got nothing to do with. And then now no one's gonna pay. And you're supposed to pay for it because you used the utility. And they calculated the utility costs higher than they normally would because of the way that the resources at that time during the storm were being allocated. Does that make sense? I'm very concerned. That's quite a concern. It's a fast way for the haves and the have-nots to have an even larger gap. It's a fast way. I see why people are very disgruntled. I quite understand. I used to think, oh, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, do this, do that, do it the way I did it. I used to have my, my pie in the sky type of mentality, and like, oh, well, if you just pray enough and God will fix it. And then I switched my mentality to, well, if you just, if you work hard, and it's like, sometimes that don't even be enough, especially when you're living in states that do stuff like that. You know what I mean? This ain't a dig on Texas. It's just a dig on, it's a dig on what happened. My fingers are tingling talking about it. Let's move on because this video is getting lengthier than I want it to be. Y'all let me think. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. That's quite, we can have a whole conversation around that. It's quite, it's sad. Because I know somebody like me, like who deals with fairness and like, and then even deals with, okay, well, if I work a little bit harder than the average person, I'm going to get above average results. Like even with me, I couldn't even get above average results in that time frame. I was living on my savings. Thank God I had, you know, the wealth, the abundance of God gracing over me and my whole entire presence. Good Lord, or it would have, y'all would have been like, what happened to T Speaks, girl? She went to Texas and got hit in that storm. Listen, we having our conversation. If I didn't have the grace of God walking all up and down before me, that storm would have knocked me out more than just emotionally. I got to move on because I could spend all day on that subject by itself, and the housing and the bylaws and how, if you haven't noticed, I've actually moved. I've had to move apartments because the apartment that I was living in was just below my expectations for myself, to say the least. And I ended up breaking the lease early. I won't go into detail, but let's just say that I was being treated. There were circumstances beyond my control. I attempted to mitigate and to advocate for myself with the leasing manager. It was not working. This is a stand your ground state. You will learn how to stand your ground. And I stood my ground, they stood their ground. We came to a mutual agreement for me to release myself from the lease early, but it cost me $1,500. $1,500. But the place was not safe for me to be in. It was not safe. It wasn't safe when I first got there. I didn't do enough research. You know, hindsight is always 20/20. And when you're a boss, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to take the loss and learn the lesson and turn it into a blessing. So I moved into a better apartment with more amenities, a little bit more money monthly, but I mean, I'm obviously worth it. And my safety and my sanity and my mental health is way more important to me than paying $200 more a month in rent. So that being said, the food and culture, and it was quite an unfair situation, but we don't talk about how unfair it is. We take the lesson, we turn it into a blessing, and we plow through and we keep moving forward. And that's how we live in. That's how we get down. So food and culture. Oh Lord, I have not been able to indulge in the food as much because I am absolutely terrified of gaining 30 pounds. I have, by nature, know thyself, an addictive personality. When I like something, I like it, and I want to do it all the time, over and over and over. And if I see great results, or it makes me feel good as a mental health specialist, understanding the mental health and those brain waves firing off, and it's good stuff happening, and I'm getting, and I'm getting pleasure out of it, I want to do it a lot. And it's one of the reasons why I stay away from toxic people, because they feel good to me. We said that right. It's the reason why I stay away from drugs and alcohol, because it feels good to do it, and it's an easy way out instead of me, and I can bury myself in it, right? Instead of sitting with the pain and working through the emotion and gaining emotional intelligence. I've had the propensity in the past to be attracted to addictive things that make me stagnant, things that make me sit on my life, things that make me sit on my gifts. And food has been one of those things. So I have not indulged as much in the food culture here because of said reason. I do like a donut every now and again. Y'all see me eating a salad on my video a couple days ago. That does not happen every day. Today I had a donut. It was so delicious. If you put a California donut in front of a Texas donut, the Texas donut wins hands down. Oh Lord Jesus, I don't know what it is about. The food here is so freaking rich. I see why people struggle with staying under a certain weight, with staying under a certain body mass index. Good Lord, it's good. And I don't even need much of it to know. I could just smell it. I'm like, I don't even eat meat, and I'm like, oof. Or I don't eat beef or pork, and I'll be looking at the beef and pork sandwich, and I'll be like, that look hella good. Ooh, Jesus, don't eat that, because you may fall all the way back down that rabbit hole. So I haven't experienced much of the food, but I will say the stuff that I've experienced, it'll drop you to your knees and make you thank God for having taste buds. Ooh, Lord Jesus. The culture is, I love the culture. I love it. I'm shaking my head no, because I can't believe I ain't eating them as much as I want to eat. But that's that discipline kicking in. I love the culture here. I love the people. I love their accent. I love how you get to meet people from different walks of life. I feel like it's quite a bit of a melting pot. I've met people who, came from Mississippi, people who came from Georgia, New York, parts of California, Ohio, Louisiana is in the house, Florida. I've met people just from all over, and they've migrated here and they have grown roots here. I even met a few people from San Francisco, and that was cool. Great topics to talk about. So I quite enjoy the culture. I will say, I'm going to segue into men and dating. Juicy topic. Juicy. I have went on, I gotta count. 4 dates. I have dated 4 people. Actually, I take it back, 6. 2 before I moved out here, and then 1, and then 4 when I moved out here. So I went on a date with 6 people who reside in Texas. And I will say that they are quite mannerable, if that is the word. They have manners. They have their ish together for the most part. The men that I've dated, they're family oriented. They drive, which is a good thing, because people in California, them dudes don't be driving. I'd be like, where your car at? You 36. And they be like, girl, I ain't got no car. I'm borrowing my auntie's car to come and get you. Like, what? But the men out here, they have a car. They actually have their own place to live. That is not the case in the parts of California that I have frequented. So I will say, in that box of check marks of life, does he have a car? Does he have a job? Does he have a place to live? And does he live alone? Check, and check. Okay. As far as, and this is just the 6 men that I have dated, the heart and the mind and the consciousness, I would say there is some area for growth. Now, we all have areas of growth. But that, my friends, there's some area for growth. I feel like there's area for growth everywhere, which is why I've decided to step back from dating, because I'm on a different level of understanding myself. And right now, dating appears to be more of a distraction from where I'm going, as to opposed to a way to help me endure life. Y'all see how I did that? Men and dating. It's gonna be a no bueno for me right now. Just for now. I'm a special creature. You do not want to take your advice from me if you are not on special creature journeyhood. If you are just an average everyday person, you don't mind going to work, coming home, turning on the tube, drinking a beer, kicking back with the friends and the fellas and the girls. You don't have much goals in life. You don't have much ambition. You don't think much about where you're going to be 10 minutes from now. I'm not the girl for you to ask advice from about anything, for that matter, because I'm not messing with stagnation. I'm not saying the men that I've dated out here are stagnated, but I am saying that let me be careful my words because I'm listening to myself talk. What I will say is my journey is, in comparison to most, more important to me to fulfill than to sit down and be with someone who is not also actively going for who they deserve to be. It's called self-actualization. When you check off all the marks of life, check, I got a degree, check, I was a homeowner, check, I raised a kid, check, I got a job. Okay, God, what else? Okay, go see how you can self-actualize. Go see how you can, turn that inner pain into something creative that will help others along the way. See how you can become a better person and not just a simple, for lack of better words, sheep. See how you can become, a leader in your own right, a shepherd. And so, men in dating, I've had some good experiences, but I've discovered right now it's not becoming of me to participate in dating because I'm sacred. And you don't let anybody on sacred ground. And that's what it is. Okay. Jobs, transportation. I know that probably didn't answer your question about men and dating. How is it? You're going to have to unfold that and unpack that as you will. We got to move on. Jobs, transportation, and safety. Girl, let's start with safety. There's some areas you just don't even want to be in when 3 o'clock hits. Okay? Like, I swear, I work in South Dallas. No shade on South Dallas. I said this on another video. When I tell you, the dogs even stop and look twice before they cross the street. The stray dogs. I had my boss tell me that. She said, girl, the stray dogs they look twice before they walk across the street. Because I went to go walk across the street to get some ghetto ass soul food that was hella good, right? Some jerk chicken and rice and stuff. Man, some plantain. I almost got hit by 3 cars simply walking down the street in a 0.2 mile radius. It's not walker friendly. Let's just say that. I would rate the safety on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being incredibly safe, Fort Knox safe. 1 being, oh Lord, it's the purge. Stay your ass in the house. For them 12 hours. I would rate, especially in South Dallas, I would rate it at a 4. Like every time I walk to the grocery store on my break at work, it's literally a 3-minute walk. Like I'm Googling how to walk there. Like it's so bad. I bring all my food. It has to be an emergency for me to go and walk down the street. It's so Dallas. Oh Lord, it has to be an emergency. It has to be like code red. I need this right now. Like, and you gotta put on your war makeup, and you gotta put on your hood, and you gotta like, it's like freaking going through a freaking video game. So bad. The transportation is equally sucks. We do have Via. I love Via. 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 You can use it everywhere in Arlington. It's a ride share. It's like $2 one way. And it's a van that picks up people along the way that are running their little errands and stuff. And it's only in a 20-mile radius because Arlington, Texas is only a 20-mile radius. That works. But as far as getting on the bus, good luck. Make sure you got your pepper spray. I done had several women tell me, make sure you carry your pepper spray. Make sure you walk a little bit. You looking a little bunny-ish. They tell me, make sure you walk with some gait about you. Put some pep in your step. Put some bass in your voice. Say it with your chest. Like they really told me, like say it with your chest when you out here. I'm like, okay. A mess. It's true though. The jobs for me, it was quick for me to get a job. I waited like 4 weeks for a job, and and 3 of them we spent in a damn storm. So the jobs, in my humble opinion, listen here, if you about that life and you want to get a job, you'll get a job. The job market is cracking. You better go ahead and go wait some tables or something until something better come along if you're really about that life. Or you can just get a car and ride, drive for Uber or Lyft. Like the jobs is here. You ain't gonna have a problem getting a job. Now making enough money to live, that's another topic. You gonna make just enough to make sure you can buy beans and rice. I'm talking hella smack on this line because it's true. I'm trying to tell you my 4-month update. It's true. It's true. Personal development, I'm going to wrap this up because it's definitely getting longer than I want it to be. Woo! Personal development and growth. I have grown so much. I smile more. I laugh more. I cry more. I freaking... Like when I say my survival skills, I feel like, girl, now we having our conversation. I feel like one of them people that went and did like one of those like offline challenges, off-grid challenges. Like you go in, what is it called? I forgot. Survivor TV show. I feel like I went and did one of them off-grid challenges. And you like weigh the person beforehand, and then you give them a score as far as their survival IQ. Like my ish was like at a 3 in California. Out here, it didn't raise to a 7. Like I got survival skills. Like hands down, I got survival skills. I got survival skills. When I say I keep my cabinet stocked with water, stocked. I never had more than a gallon of water in California. Never. Now I got 5-6 gallons. Every time I go to a store, let me get a gallon of water, and I'm just hoarding water just in case something happened and I can't get to the store for 3 weeks. Good Lord. Man, my survival skills, and it didn't kicked up. I tell you, I didn't really have to take care of myself. I didn't really have to get myself... I didn't learn how to have a conversation with people when I don't want to talk to people. They'll bug you when you having, when you in the grocery line or something, because they just want to talk. They're very friendly out here. They just want to talk. And sometimes I don't be feeling like talking, and they'll still ask you questions about, be all in your business. So how much you spend on that? Well, and you talk to them, and then they'll tell you all their business in a 10-minute conversation. And I'm like, I know more about this person than I know about my best friend in 10 minutes. So that's one thing I will say about it. Um, and I've learned um, to be less anxious because I'm always preparing myself. You know what I'm saying? To be less anxious. It sounds counterintuitive because I still have an anxious persona around me. That's just how my brain works, especially when you're in survival mode, right? Like, you're just gonna be anxious by nature. But as far as, it's something about you, and now I'm just talking it to you, especially if you made it this far in the video. It's something about you going on your own quest, the confidence that just comes with that. It's unshakable. It's something that a degree on a wall could never give you. The feeling of that accomplishment, it will never happen by getting a degree or making $1 million, or which I mean, I'm gonna find out soon enough because I am on my way there. Or even for me, I would say having a child and starting a family, like, those things are external. You feel what I mean? But when you make a conscious decision to say, I'm gonna go on a journey, and whatever happens, storms and all, pun intended, I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna get through it. And if I don't, I'll die trying. And at least I died trying. There's something about it that you just, the time span, the way you spent your time, like, you cannot put a price tag on it. I can't put a price tag on this time. I came from, where are those emotions back in? Put that tear back in. I came from some dark territory in California. And I knew that I had a decision to make on my life. That if I didn't make that decision to move, I probably was not gonna ever move. And I was too afraid to stay and sit with that, with myself, as opposed to just jumping ship and being like, damn, I'm about to do this, and do it. Like, I was more afraid to stay as opposed to the unknown, the fear of the unknown. I didn't know it was out here. I hyped myself up, which we all do when we really want something hella bad. I hyped myself up coming out here to Texas. I was like, yeah, I've visited. I know the land. I can get through the weather. Da-da-da-da. Girl, I didn't know nothing about it until you sit here and you go through the days in and days out of it. But it was just better for me to do this part of my life and to do it recklessly, if that's even, the right word to say. Because I don't feel like I was reckless, but I mean, there was opportunities where I could have done more research. But I would have rather done it that way than to not do it at all. So there's my 4-month update. I learned my personal development about myself, that I can and will get through anything that comes my way. If it does not kill me, it will definitely make me stronger. It is here to build me, not to break me. And if it breaks me, it's gonna build me. I learned that. I hope that this message reaches you in good light. And that if you want to move, you could do it. It's scary. It's daunting. It's like, what the hell? I don't know what's over there. The grass, I don't know if the grass is greener over there. It's better to be with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't. And sometimes that's not true at all. Sometimes you want to go see other devils. Sometimes you want to reveal that. So you want to reveal that you know what I'm saying, that possibility to yourself. Sometimes it's worth it, because then you'll see, you'll learn things about you. You'll be like, damn, I was so coddled in California. I had no survival skills. They was at a 3. Now they're at a 7. But I wouldn't have got that level of understanding about myself if I had stayed with the devil that I knew. Especially, I mean, if you got angels walking with you, you better go and do that. What you mean? You better go ahead and get that life. Stop playing. If you want to go move. I'm about to go wrap this video up. What's next? I can't talk about what's next. It's a secret. But y'all will find out when the time is right. But for now, just know that I am in still Arlington, Texas, which is a small city of Dallas, around Dallas, Fort Worth area. I quite like it still. Is it my cup of tea for the rest of my life? Probably not. Is my journey going to stop here? No, it won't. Mm-mm. I'm like one of those birds, and it's like, go fly away, go fly away. And then I'm too scared to fly. And then when I fly and I say, oh my God, there's so much more area out here. You mean I can do this with my life? You mean I can fly here and go there? No one's telling me no. I don't have to check in. Girl, I'm one of them birds. You tell me to fly. Once you convince me to fly, I'm gonna fly. So stay tuned. I really love you guys. And I really just appreciate y'all just being with me on my journey. I appreciate myself. I'm proud of you, T Speaks. I'm proud of you, girl, just for doing it. When I say it was quite the elephant to bite, to chew, I bit that elephant. I ate that elephant one bite at a time. Pulled over on the road, threw up when I ate too much, kept going. Wiped my mouth, kept going. That's how it be. That's how it be. I feel like the kitten. I gotta go. There's a meme where the kitten is looking in the mirror and they see a reflection of a lion staring back at them. And it's so cute, because that's how I feel when I look at myself in the mirror. I feel like a kitten looking at a lion in the mirror, like, wow, I can do this. I got this. So do you, wherever you decide to move. Send me your questions. I love answering them. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. Until next time. Oh, invest in yourself. It's just you and you. Till next time. Love you guys. T Speaks. Bye.